the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Don't label us left or right. We are American. Not looking for a war, but we came to fight. We are American. Somebody's gotta stand up. Somebody's gotta do what's right. We rise because we're fed up. Got our house in order and got yours inside. I am American. What I am, what I think, and what I do. I am American. What I am, and I bleed red, white, and blue.
Well. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Super Dave Show. It is, when is it? It is April 14th. And are you sitting back enjoying the show? Not this show, the show of what the liberals are doing to us. I'm telling you, folks, I was reading a story earlier, and I'll get to it in a minute here, but I was reading a story earlier. I got to tell you something. It's stunning. It's stunning. They call themselves journalists. And it just is unbelievable what they're doing. It really is. I'm just amazed that I forgot to let the people in on Gab and the rest of them know that we're still alive. Excuse me there. I got to tell you, it is amazing to me that we are actually reading these stories. I mean, it just what you see and what you hear are total opposites. Now, I'm going to, in a minute here, I'm going to show, if I can find it here, I'm going to show and I showed this yesterday, but then I'm going to read a story by the New York Times. Now, not that you can't read it. First of all, it was really interesting because if you want to go read the New York Times, generally, you have to pay to be on. And I'm not giving them a penny. But when there's a story, and if you notice that this is what liberal media does, if there's a story that they want to make sure you read, they don't put the little stopper on there that says, "Oh no, you have to be registered or whatever." And I happen to see this. I was like, wow, how come I can read this? Because it's New York Times. But it's so worth it. It is unbelievable that we actually have, seriously, it's unbelievable. We actually have something they call the media that is doing this. I'm just amazed. Well, I shouldn't be amazed, but I am. So here we are. We have the New York Times, and you got to see this. You really have to see this. Okay, in a second here, I'm going to play the. Where is it here? I may have to find it again. I always find it after, but let's just get rid of that. Give me a second here, and I know you guys have seen it, but let's just make sure we have this down because it doesn't mean put it in there. It doesn't mean as much until you see exactly how things proceeded, and I'm telling you what, I'm reading the story. It's like they're not even. They're not. You're re-looking at something. You're going, wow. Now this is okay. I want just to be fair. Now here, this is CNN. All right. Now you look at the nice picture of Dante there with his little girl. Oh yes, nobody ever says what he did for a living or like that. But by the way, in that incident, that's up in Brooklyn Center, right outside of Minneapolis, where they're having the trial. Let me bring this up here. See if this will work. Okay, warning. Remember, there's a warning here. I want everybody to know there's a warning. They're going to protect you. Let's go back to the very beginning here. And you'll see the.
We'll be releasing the body-worn footage worn by the officer involved in the fatal officer-involved shooting that happened on Sunday afternoon. I've watched the video myself, and there's nothing I can say to lessen the pain of Mr. Wright's family, friends, loved ones, for that feeling of loss that they must have. That pain is shared by the community and also all those involved in the incident. What I can do is convey my deepest sympathies to the Wright family and be transparent with the information I'm aware of at this time. That will include showing a video portion from the point of deadly force used by the officer, as well as the officer's immediate reaction after the use of deadly force. I caution everybody as you watch this that this will be graphic and unedited.
They approach the car. Whoop. Everything's going great so far. That's Rebecca will stop. Ask him to get out. Now, they get him out, and they're going to put handcuffs on him because there's a warrant out for his arrest. Get his handcuffs out, and then all of a sudden, he jumps in the car. He gets loose, jumps in the car, and wants to take off. Brilliant move. Brilliant move. You know, that when you cause all this crap, this is the kind of stuff that gets you shot. Police officer thinks that she's got her taser and she doesn't. Okay.
As you can hear, the officer, while struggling with Mr. Wright, shouts, "Taser, taser," several times. That is part of the officer's training prior to deploying a taser, which is a less lethal device. That is done to make her partners aware, as well as the subject, that a taser deployment will be imminent. During this encounter, however, the officer drew their handgun instead of their taser. For informational purposes, we train with our handguns on our dominant side and our taser on our weak side. So if you're right-handed, you carry your firearm on your right side and you carry your taser on the left. This is done purposefully and is trained. As I watch the video and listen to the officer's commands, it is my belief that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser, but instead shot Mr. Wright with a single bullet. This appears to me, from what I've viewed and the officer's reaction and distress immediately after, that this was an accidental discharge that resulted in the tragic death of Mr. Wright. I have asked the BCA to conduct an independent investigation into the shooting and death. Once they are completed, I expect they will submit their findings, independent of me, to the appropriate authorities, the appropriate attorneys that will look and review this case. I'm also stressing that I do hope for the community to be patient and allow this investigation, criminal investigation, to be completed as thoroughly as possible. I believe Mr. Wright deserves this, as do all involved. The officer is currently on administrative leave.
All right. Now we're gonna leave that. We're gonna go to me. And okay, you saw what it was. All right. Now, by the way, basically,
affirm under penalty of perjury.
Basically, everybody has resigned. I mean, really, the chief of police, all these people, and then the black mayor of Brooklyn Center fired. He fired the city administrator, I guess it was, because the city administrator said we're gonna go ahead and go through what the procedures. Because in this country, I guess I didn't know this. In this country, are you having the same problem I'm having there? In this country, we are innocent to proven guilty, but not anymore. Not anymore. That's not what we are. So I'm stuck up there. I'm looking. Is it going okay where you are? Is it? Kind of weird. Let me look at something here, and it should be okay now. Could have been bad for a second, or it could be bad on my one computer here. So who knows? Don't mean to go to something else, but I have to. Okay, now you saw this. Now I have to read this. I mean, I've got to read the story that that honestly, I got to read the story that they have. Okay, here we go. That they have on in New York Times. Sorry, I'm doing 5 things at once here. All right. This is what to know about the death of Dante Wright. Okay, now you just saw the video. Now, we're going to go by the translation that the pathetic, they're not even media, gave you. A police officer shot Mr. Wright in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, about 10 miles from Derek Chauvin, is on trial. All right, now, hundreds of demonstrators poured into the streets of Brooklyn Center, Minnesota on Sunday night and Monday night after the fatal police shooting of Dante Wright, a 20-year-old black man during a traffic stop. The shooting injected more frustration and anxiety into the Twin Cities region, where the trial of Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer charged with murdering George Floyd, is now in its 3rd week. Here's what we know what happened. Now, this is where the fantasy starts. How the shooting unfolded. According to Chief Tim Gannon of Brooklyn Center Police Department, officers pulled Mr. Wright over on Sunday afternoon for a traffic violation related to an expired registration tags. Officers then discovered he had a warrant for his arrest. As the police tried to detain Mr. Wright, he stepped back into his car. They were handcuffing him, and according to this, that is not what he said. That's not what the chief said. He stepped back into his car, prompting a brief struggle with officers. In a graphic body camera footage shown to reporters on Monday, one officer can be seen pointing a handgun at him and shouting, "Taser." The car pulls away. The car pulled away. See, the driver didn't, he was just putting his hand in to grab something. That's all it was. Yeah. The car pulled away, so the car was on its own. They all did. They all resigned. Okay, the car traveled several blocks and struck another vehicle. And Mr. Wright was pronounced dead at the scene. It is my belief that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser, but instead Mr. Wright got a single bullet, said Chief Gannon. Hennepin County Examiner concluded Monday that Mr. Wright died of a gunshot. We all know that. All right, now let's go to Mommy. Katie Wright, I'm not trying to be rude here, Mr. Wright's mother told reporters that her son had called her as he was being pulled over. "Mom, they're pulling me over. They might kill me. I don't know. I'm really worried." By the way, I'm going to get back to one of the reasons why Dante Wright was being arrested. He said they pulled him over because he had air fresheners hanging from his rear view mirror. Yeah, that's what most police officers do. Let me continue here. So, Miss Wright said her son had dropped or put down the phone, after which she heard scuffling and an officer telling Mr. Wright not to run. Then she said someone hung up. When she called back, a woman who had been in the car with him answered and told her that he had been shot. All right. Now let me go back a little bit. Dante Wright. Let me give you a picture of what Dante Wright really looks like here. When they don't try to make him look like he's the loving father. Here's a picture of him right here. Okay, now pictures don't mean anything, but I just wanted to say this. All right. So there's Dante. Now Dante had other issues. Let me bring him back here. He had a warrant for his arrest. Okay. Now, it wasn't because he had something hanging from his rearview mirror. Oh, come on. I don't know why this is so big here. Now, the officer, she made a mistake. There's no doubt about it. Cost someone their life. But then again, I'm going to go back to when I used to be a police officer. Why? Where do you think you're going? Where are you running from? I mean, it's stupid. It's really stupid. Oh, I think they're going to shoot me. When you slip out of handcuffs, when they try to handcuff them, that's what happens. Mistakes happen, and then all of a sudden falls on the police. And granted, I'm not making excuses for the mistakes. But now, remember, this is the picture of how they want you to know Dante, the loving father, all right? The loving father. What a nice guy. But he was in jail. Oh, where is it here? He was in jail. Let me see. Let's go. No. Let me find it here real quick. Okay. All right. Here's the story on him. Let me get it here. Wright was allegedly pulled over for having expired license plate tags. Totally opposite of what it said up there. He told mommy, I got pulled over for this, and the New York Times reporter tries to say that the reason he got pulled over is because he didn't. Oh, why he had a warrant out for him is because his he didn't appear at a court hearing. Now, what was a court hearing? Wright was allegedly pulled over for having expired plate tags, although he called his mother and told her he have an air freshener hanging. I can't imagine lying to mommy. Oh, no, you don't lie to mommy. When they tried to handcuff him, Wright got back into his car. At that point, Potter shot him in the chest after warning fellow officers to get out of the way by shouting, "Taser, taser." Wright was due to face trial on attempted aggravated robbery with possible maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. That's why he wanted to get away. He didn't show up for court, folks. That's not in the story. Hey, New York Times, you don't know how to report stories? Of course you do. You report what you want. That's the problem we got here. All right, so charging papers say he and a second man, Emma J. Driver, went to a home shared by two women in Minnesota to party. At the time, Wright was 19. The other guy was 18. The women asked them to leave about 2:30 a.m., but they said they didn't have a ride, and the women who are not identified in court documents allowed them to sleep on the floor. In the morning, one of the women went to the bank to get her $820 rent money, which she gave the other woman, and then left for work. As Wright, Driver, and the second woman were leaving, Wright allegedly tried to hold up the woman. The three of them were walking to the door to exit the apartment, and defendant Wright turned around and blocked the door, preventing victim from leaving. This is straight from the police report. Defendant Wright then pulled a black handgun, I guess he got it from Sunday school class, with silver trim, out from under his right waistband or his right coat pocket, and then pointed the victim and demanded rent money. The victim said, "Are you serious?" And Sunday school teacher Dante Wright said, "Give me the effing money. I know you have it." What a nice guy. Oh, yeah. The $820 was tucked under the victim's bra, and defendant Wright, placing his hand around the victim's neck, choked her while trying to pull the cash from under her bra. Victim was able to get loose from the defendant and started to kneel down and scream. After more screaming, Wright allegedly told the woman that he was going to shoot her unless he got the money. I wonder if he had his son right with him then. I wonder. Yeah, okay. So give me the money and we will leave. And we will go. Yeah, so they took it, all right? This what I gotta tell you, if this happens to my son, I hope they pick your ass up. I hope they put you in jail until you finally get your act together. You can't do this stuff, and that's it. But here's the problem. If you're black and you're shot, it doesn't matter what the hell you've done. It doesn't make a difference. Yes, you're right, Linda. Every time more is found out about these black thugs. That's what happens. If you're white, you're guilty. You're right. Minneapolis police officer who shot Dante Wright and resigned. And I don't blame them. You know, Ronnie, there is no justice right now. Here's who's in charge. Here's who's in charge of the courts right now. Right there. Those people here are the ones in charge of the courts. It's what they say. You know, I want to go back to the story now, because the story has some other information. It goes back to demonstrators clashed with the police at a vigil. Now, our imagination of vigil, where a bunch of people are quiet, they got their hands folded, and they got their heads down. That's what they're trying to show. Didn't happen. We want justice for Dante. We don't want it to be about all this violence. But hours later, Brooklyn Center Police Department protesters claimed, but hours later, outside Brooklyn Center Police Department, protesters chanted and threw bricks and cans at officers. At least 20 businesses inside a nearby mall had been broken into. Protesters would gather again on Monday and Tuesday nights, and on both nights, now here's where it's really interesting. On both nights, the police fired projectiles into the crowd, so it's their fault. You see what the crowd can do, and they say, we're not doing this, and here you go. Protesters the authorities around the region have imposed curfews. Here we go now. Here's the fairy tale story about the thug. Family and friends remembered Mr. Wright this week for his bright smile. Yes. Yeah, you bitch, give me your rent money. And outgoing demeanor as a dedicated father to a toddler. Son, this is how you rob people. He wasn't with the kids that night, so he went there, spent the night somewhere, and then he robbed the people who let them spend the night. As a freshman at Thomas Edison, dedicated father to a toddler, Dante Jr. Oh, good, we got another one, who was almost 2. Let me see. He's 19 years old, 17. That's just that's how it continues, folks. That's how it continues. He attended Patrick Henry High School in Minneapolis in 2018, and said the principal Yusuf Abdullah, who said was just like any other kid. Now, does that mean that the other kids were out there robbing and choking people? Is that what it was? Hey, Abdullah, that's scary right there. At a news conference outside a Minneapolis courthouse on Tuesday, his mother was joined by Courtney Ross, the girlfriend of George Floyd. Oh yeah, we got to put this together. Who was once Mr. Wright's former teachers. Court records indicate that the judge issued a warrant for Mr. Wright early this month, after he missed a court appearance. Nothing else in there what the court appearance was about. Just a court appearance. You know, he was speeding 5 miles over and he forgot. He was facing 20 years. Don't you think that would be important? By the way, we already know the ID of the cop that shot Dante. We're still waiting. February, March, April. Over 3 months, we're still waiting for the identity of who shot Ashley Babbitt. Isn't that amazing? Why is the media not demanding who it is? Who shot her? Okay, the officer who shot him has quit. On Monday, officials identified the police officer who shot Mr. Wright as Kim Potter, 26-year veteran of Brooklyn Center Police Department. She resigned from police. Her union sent in a statement, and everybody else did too. I don't blame them. I would not be around there to save my life. It's crazy. It's crazy. By the way, I don't think they allowed me to put this on my Facebook page. I want to try it again here. Wendy has been nice enough to let me put it on my Facebook page. Oh, I want to try it again and see if maybe I didn't do it. Maybe I made a mistake. It's possible. Let me go here and just do this real quick and see if I can put it on my own page. If there's a little bit of a delay here, folks, just give me a break. This is... Yes, I went on my own Facebook page. It wasn't on there, so we're going to... Oh, goodness gracious. Let me see here. Let me close some of this stuff. Isn't this great, though, that we have a media that is so kind and so nice to tell us whatever they want to tell us? They do not know how. They do not know how to tell the truth. That's the way it should be, right? Yeah, let's just go ahead and let them do whatever they want. Yeah, I have warrants out for his arrest. I'm looking at stuff, and I feel, honestly, the cop, these days, first off, if everybody is so much better, and I see this all the time, well, she needs to go to jail, she needs to do this, whatever. My question is, how come these people who know more about being a police officer than those that have served, or you do get a racist police officer? By the way, I got some news for you. There are racist black police officers, and there are racist white police officers. That is real life. But we don't want people to know that. We just want to think that every white every white person is a white supremacist. I mean, aren't you one, Linda and Ronnie and some of the other people watching right now? I mean, aren't you, and then who you are? I mean, really. And there's so many people, it's really interesting. I think a lot of people are, and I've learned this, a lot of people watch the show, but they don't necessarily log in because they're nervous about other people seeing them watching this show thinking that they're racist, because how dare you say anything at all? I mean, really, how dare you? I really am not sure. I want to try this again here and see if it'll let me. It's uncanny that we have a lot of, and it's funny because I've Wendy told me that she's seen a lot of other people watching it, but they don't log in because I think they're very nervous about what Facebook is doing. We will soon be South Africa if we continue. You're right. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. If we continue, seriously, to allow this crap to happen, really, nobody shows up to vote. We're just standing back watching. That's all we're doing. I really don't understand how we can do this. For my leftist friends who I know are watching, I don't have a problem with telling all the truth of what happened. But when you have a New York Times article where it's nothing but blatant lies, or they're not telling everything. That's my biggest problem. They're not even telling everything. Why would we allow that to happen? I'm dead serious. Why would we allow that to happen? Okay, I'm back on my, let me see. I went on mine. I'm on my page now too. So unless they shut me down again, we'll see. Who knows? So if you go on mine, it may be there for a little bit. But a lot of people are just going straight through DLive, and that's fine. Everybody's resigned. Honestly, if I was a police officer on that police department, I would resign because I know this is what they get to look forward to. And in fact, not just there. Right now, who wants to be a police officer? Right now, You have every police department pretty much, in big cities especially, where you're going to have riots because you got the George Floyd trial, with Derek Chauvin. You got this now, and this gives all the thugs a reason to do what they do. Now, I want to go to something else. It did allow me to put it on there, so let's see what happens. I looked at this one earlier. I'm just amazed that we allow this to happen. Where is it here? I want to show you the kind of garbage the left is doing here. They just do what the hell they want. They really do. Now in Dallas, Dallas used to be a very conservative area, but when Houston had their when Hurricane Katrina happened, the Dallas lefties said, "Yeah, come to our town," kind of like the illegals to some extent. Come to our town, and so how would you like to be at a restaurant? How would you like to be at a restaurant? Now watch these lefties. I want you to see these lefties here, because this is what we got. This is where we are today, folks. They have taken over. So here we go. This is in Dallas. Oh, I got to turn on here. So the lefties have taken, and if you notice, this is not black people. There are liberal white kids that have been trained. Let me get back to what I said before. Who have been trained by the professors in your colleges, and you could go all the way down to grade school. Who have been trained, who have been indoctrinated, where you people didn't even bother to go vote. That's what we get to look forward to. I have another one here I want to show. They're all pretty much the same. You have these people here. This is what's bothersome to me. You have these people here interfering. What if that would happen? Think about this. What if that would happen? I'm going to go back to 9/11. 9/11 was a horrible day. We had the trade towers came down, plus more, burnt down the trade towers and other buildings, and the media says because it was they just said and the lefties said we don't need to show that anymore. Now this is the video I showed you is not on regular media. Oh, you may see it on some of the stations, but you won't see it on most of them because they don't show that. They make it sound like they call that a peaceful protest. I protest in many places. Have I ever gone into a diner and start kicking? And there's video of that here too. When they go in and start knocking drinks off the tables, they start harassing the customers. Is that really what you want? I mean, this is, while you're sitting on your butts doing nothing, this is going on. These people have taken over. And we got people cowering in their homes saying, yeah, but if they come here, it's not going to happen. It's happening. They want to take your guns. They want to come to your place. They want to here. The McCloskeys get out there and protect their property, and they are the criminals. I mean, really, that's where we are today. So, my friends, this really is not anything that we can get real excited about right now by sitting back and doing nothing. Kamala Harris, you remember when Joe Biden went to office, he says, look, we want to calm everything down, do all that stuff, and then they start their own division. Kamala Harris is one of the biggest whores on the planet. Political whores, well, other two. Kamala Harris, here's what she says. Black women in the U.S. are more likely to die in connection with childbirth. Well, I'm going to add to that in a second. Because of racism and implicit bias. You know what? She's right, but not in the way she's trying to convey to you. I'm going to read this one more. Black women in the U.S. are more likely to die in connection with childbirth. That's called abortion. That's called abortion. I'm talking about black babies. And because of racism, because Margaret Sanger, for you lefties out there, let me give you a little history lesson here. Margaret Sanger started Planned Parenthood because she was a devout racist and she wanted to stop black people from reproducing. Margaret Sanger was a Democrat. All these things I'm reading here, they do not point out who these people are. If you notice, they always talk about white people now, but they never say, they don't even tell the story. The New York Times doesn't even bother to tell the story. That, my friends, is totally disgusting. If you can't tell the story, why are you doing this? Have read from 3 sources the name of Ashley Babbitt is. Oh, you're talking about the one that shot Ashley Babbitt? David Bailey. But, you know, in the next... Okay, we already know all the history about Derek Chauvin, all these people. We know everything immediately. You know, the media says, hey, we need to find out. But when it comes to this, they don't even want to talk about it. That's what they do. If it's a story they don't want to talk about, forget it. If it's a black guy or a Muslim guy that goes out and does a mass shooting, how did that guy get the gun? They don't talk about the color of the man. They don't talk about the fact that if a black guy goes in or a Muslim goes in, it's a hate crime. They don't do that. But you have, if a white person goes out and shoots 8 people, and the majority of them are Asian, because Asians happen to work there, then all of a sudden it's about racism. But you know something? I just showed you a video of white liberals who have been trained and indoctrinated. You know who they remind me of, seriously? They remind me of the Muslim terrorist. Except they live here. And they're actually citizens of this country. They remind me of Muslim terrorists. Because little kids in these countries are taught to be terrorists. They're taught to go in and be a kamikaze. Strap a bomb on and go in, and therefore you get to see Allah. You're finding it, Elizabeth. That's where we are. Thank you very much. I'm talking about how they're indoctrinated. You know, if we don't go to the source of this, people don't get it. Texas school board members indicted by grand jury for secret discussions of critical race theory. Folks, they're working behind the scenes. But we got the jackass chair of the Republican Central Committee in Jefferson County giving money to these liberals that we're talking about, who push these schools. Please tell me where that's okay. I don't get it. Tell me where it's okay for the people supposedly that are representing you to push these school board members who are behind the scenes working with the NEA, who behind the scenes are working with the Democrat Party. How many kinds of stupid are we? At what point are we going to finally figure it out that, you know something, we need to do something different here? It's unbelievable. And we are letting them do whatever they want. Far-left terrorists light Portland Police Union building on fire. It's okay. It's okay. You can light these places on fire because we're mad. You know what? I'm mad at Joe Biden and his leftist garbage. So let's go burn down something they have. That's what they want us to say. I'm not going to say it because then you have fascist book that goes ahead and says, well, wait a minute. He means he's going to do it. That's not who we are. Oh, yeah, but on January 6th, no. If you would truly report the news, which is not what we get, you would know exactly what happened. Boy, we can't even get that. We can't get the truth and honesty from anywhere. And that's the problem we have. We have CNN, the Veritas Project has been undercover doing things, doing great work. And CNN said, yeah, we did everything we could to bring Trump down. Are they really entitled to First Amendment protections? I'm dead serious. Are they? I don't know. I'm going to see if it took me down again. If I'm on it, it looks like it's okay. But I'm checking again here because they're doing what they can. You got the... Oh, goodness. I'm telling you what. It just is... It's really a sad day when we don't stand up to this stuff. Americans have become so lax. I mean, not the people that are watching this. Yes, Sassy, that's exactly what they're doing. They are teaching, they're indoctrinating our children. Why do you think I was so pissed off when 8% of the people showed up on Election Day and allowed these Marxist school board members to continue what they're doing? I want to know why. Why would you allow that? I really don't know. But they did. They allowed it. They continued it. And this is what happens. I really don't know if they're a sanctuary. I'm sure they are. A sanctuary city. Yeah, that's a city that this is something else too. I grew up in the city of St. Louis. And before I was old enough to talk, it was taken over by Democrats. Now, the Democrats of 1955, say 60, whatever, were not as bad as the communists we have today. There's no such thing as a Democrat Party. They're the Communist Party. Make no mistake about it. So we have the leftists, and they took over the cities. So now we have a black mayor. We give them everything they want. They got a black police chief. We've seen this in city after city after city. And this is where the brain dead in our populace, especially the leftist idiots, the white ones especially. I'm going after the white ones because they're idiots. I mean, they were taught by our schools, and we're idiots for allowing it. See, I'm really big on the fact that we allow certain things. It's sickening. It is really sickening that we have allowed this stuff to happen. I am amazed that the American people have said, we're going to shut our eyes. We're going to do that. And by the way, Candace Owens comes out and says, if white people are so bad, why doesn't one of the leaders of the BLM movement, who spent over $1.5 million for a house, why is she living among these white people that are so bad? Maxine Waters, why, when you represent your district, you don't live in your district, you represent the people who are ghetto, who are in a horrible district and the whole thing. Why aren't you living around the very people you say are so wonderful? If they're so wonderful, why aren't you living there? I mean, do reasonable people even ask these questions? I don't think so. How in the world, I'm dead serious, how in the world can we absolutely allow this stuff to continue? I really don't know. I wonder sometimes, where the brains are. In college, in grade school, middle school, high school, they don't teach people how to think. They teach them what to think. Now, if you people are okay with that, then sit on your happy asses and don't do anything. Aren't unions a Marxist? Of course they are. Aren't unions a Marxist ideology from the Workers' Party founded by Trotsky used to riot. That's exactly right. I know. 1949 is the last year. 1948, 49, whatever, right around then is when last year the St. Louis actually had a Republican in control. Well, this is what they do. And here's the problem. You know what? They know. Oh, I'm going to find this, and I'm going to show you. This is, I hope I can find this, but I played this many times. But I want to play this for a reason, because now we can go back and see what happened. I can't remember her name. How did this go? I may even have it on my history here. God knows where that is. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out how this went. Let me see the Muslims. A woman got up, and I'm trying to remember what her name was. If somebody can remember her name, please let me know, because it's really a very important. It's one of the best videos I've ever seen. And I'm trying to figure out how I can put this, because let me see if I can. Give me 1 second. Maybe that'll do it. They were having, and maybe I'll find it here. They were having this get together, and there were several people. Anybody remember who that was? I can't remember their name. But they had like a bunch of people. I can't even describe things. They had like a bunch of people at a table, and they were taking questions. And a woman says, you know, most Muslims are peace-loving people. And I can't remember her name. Maybe I could just find it where I should have it to begin with. But I want to find it because it's so important. It really is. It makes me so mad that I can't remember that, because I don't mean to concentrate on this, because it's really that important. Because we got people standing around doing nothing, and thank you, I appreciate that, Sassy, I really do. We have people standing around doing nothing, and it's like, that's the whole point. That's what happened in Germany. That's what happened in Venezuela. When people stand by and let this stuff happen, I'm dead serious. When you let this stuff happen, it's over. I mean, we are over. When you get down to it, it's over. And we just cannot allow this to continue. We just can't allow it. Oh, this is going to drive me crazy. I got to take a break in a little bit. Maybe I can do it then. But it was, she was explaining that, that yes, you're right. Most Muslims are peace-loving Muslims. But a percentage of all these people are not. They're terrorists. And while this percentage of people are terrorists, the other people sat back and did nothing. That's where we are right now. We have sat back and we're doing nothing. We're not doing anything. We're not standing up. We're letting the left. They're going into restaurants. They're just destroying things. They think they can run the streets, the highways, everything else. And what do? Our police departments are told to stand down. Look, I lived through the Michael Brown thing. I talked to people in that area. And those people were told, the cops there were told to stand down. I lived next door to one of the cops at the time. He wasn't from the Ferguson area, but, as you know, if you don't know this, there were a lot of cops from other areas other cities that went there to help protect it. And they were told to stand down. Now, as a former cop myself, there's no way I would be standing down. But then again, you think about it. If you got 1,000 cops there and you're the only one doing anything, what do you do? You know, that's what scares me about a lot of police officers, that a lot of them are just going to obey orders and say, well, I was told that I have to do this. That's where we are. Let me see. Let me see if that does it. That, you know, if it's driving me crazy, it really is. Because we had this, and if somebody knows that woman's name, she's very popular. I can't think of her name. But they kill people. John Paul, we need to, you know, we better start fighting one way, and that's the problem we have, my friends. We don't fight. We sit back and we let it happen. And in fact, you know, one of the things that drives me crazy is when people say, well, you know something, if they come to my house, I'm going to shoot them. So in other words, I'm going to allow all this stuff to happen, and then when these thousands of people come to my house, they're going to shoot them. We're going to shoot them, right. That's not going to get you anywhere. We have to start fighting back. That's all of it. Most of the Democrat cities, most of the cities are run by Democrats, and they're the ones having all the problems. But for some reason, it's Republicans' fault. And by the way, if you are a white person, Ronnie, you other people out there, you are racist. That's it. You people are racist. That's all there is to it. Always know that. You're racist. If you don't think you're a racist, then you don't get it. It's really an amazing thing when you think about it. When you've got all these people out there who are, they're devastating cities, they're tearing them, they're burning them down, all that stuff. The media stays quiet, and then you got a bunch of white liberal idiots along with the thugs. Can you imagine? I mean, look, I want to tell you right now, I work the hood. And I would just tell you, this is what a thug thinks like. Look at that dumbass white woman there. You know what? She is a damn fool, but we're going to use her. That's exactly what they're doing. They're using these people, and they're too stupid to understand that they're being used. They really are, because they weren't taught to think in college. They weren't taught to think anywhere. Why are police chiefs appointed and not elected like sheriff as a constitution? Well, you know, it's interesting you should say that, because in the city of St. Louis at one time, the police departments were run by the state. The state didn't run them, but they worked through the state. In other words, there was no political connection between the mayor and the police chief. None. And now they may have had their own individual, but they didn't have to do what they were told. Now it's a different story. Yeah, it's set up by them. It is. And that's the whole point. They set it up, but here's the biggest problem we have. I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray that things get better as things get worse. If you think it's getting any better by praying, you have a lot to learn, my friends, because I'll tell you what, right now, there's no way things are going to get better. The only thing that's going to happen right now is that every day, more and more, because eventually they're going to come, and if you notice, it doesn't make a difference. Whatever happens, they are going to try to take your guns. Now, oh yes, they're going to start here, but you know what I will play for sure is one of my favorite, I'm doing this for a reason, because I want people to know that people are doing things. And by the way, this man isn't a racist. wait a minute. He's not a racist. I want you to see this. Now, a lot of you people have seen this, but this gives me hope. But unfortunately, when you have 8% of the people that show up at an election, this is I have to live on this right now. So I'm going to go ahead and play this, and I want you to watch this again because you better start doing something.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes. I didn't have time to
You have to give us your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Mark Robinson. I live at 4015 Sassafras Court. That's right here in Greensboro. Lived in Greensboro all my life. I didn't have time to write a fancy speech. I didn't have time to, I didn't have the resource of an English teacher to sit down and write a speech with at school today and be, brought over here, practice or anything. What I really came down here for is this. I've heard a whole lot of people in here talking tonight about this group and that group and domestic violence and blacks, these minorities and that minority. What I want to know is, when are you all going to start standing up for the majority? And here's who the majority is. I'm the majority. I'm a law-abiding citizen who's never shot anybody, never committed a serious crime, never committed a felony. I've never done anything like that. But it seems like every time we have one of these shootings, nobody wants to put the blame where it goes, which is at the shooter's feet. You want to put it at my feet. You want to turn around and restrict my right, constitutional right that's spelled out in black and white. You want to restrict my right to buy a firearm and protect myself from some of the very people you're talking about in here tonight. It's ridiculous. I don't think Rod Serling could come up with a better script. It does not make any sense. The law-abiding citizens of this community and many communities around this country, we're the first ones taxed and the last ones considered and the first ones punished when things like this happens, because our rights are the ones that are being taken away. That's the reason why I came down here today. Gun show or no gun show, NRA or no NRA. I'm here to stand up for the law-abiding citizens of this community, because I'm going to tell you that what's going to happen. You can take the guns away from us all you want to. You all write a law, I follow the law, I'll bring my guns down here, I'll turn them in. But here's what's going to happen. The Crips and the Bloods on the other side of town, they're not going to turn their guns in. They're going to hold on to them. And what's going to happen when you have to send the police down there to go take them? The police can barely enforce the law as it is. It's what I see. We demonize the police, criminalize and vilify the police, and we make the criminals into victims. And we're talking about restricting guns? How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that when the police department's already hamstrung? You're not going to be able to go down here and take these guns from these criminals. So the criminals are going to hold on to their guns. They're still going to have them. They're still going to break in my house, and they're still going to shoot me with them. And guess who's going to be the one that suffers? It's going to be me. Well, I'm here to tell you tonight, it is not going to happen without a fight. And when I say fight, I don't mean shots fired. I don't mean fist thrown. I mean I'm going to come down here to this city council and raise hell just like these loonies from the left do until you listen to the majority of the people in this city. And I am the majority. The majority of the people in this city are law-abiding, and they follow the law, and they want their constitutional right to be able to bear arms. They want to be able to go to the gun show and buy a hunting rifle or a sport rifle. There are no military-grade weapons sold at the gun show. An AR-15 is not a military-grade weapon. Anybody that would go into combat with an AR-15 is a fool. It's a semi-automatic 22 rifle. You'd be killed in 15 minutes in combat with that thing. So we need to dispel all these myths, and we need to drop all this division that we got going on here. Because the bottom line is, when that Second Amendment was written, whether the framers liked it or not, they wrote it for everybody. And I am everybody. And the law-abiding citizens of this city are everybody. And we want our rights, and we want to keep our rights. And by God, we're going to keep them, come hell or high water.
If that doesn't get you, then there's something wrong with you. And guess what? That man went out and got elected. I think he's the lieutenant governor now? Yeah, lieutenant governor. That's what he is. And I did find what I was looking for. Let me see. I found the clip I was looking for. I think I want to make sure I bookmark this because this is just too good to. This is just awesome. What happened? You know, you'll see what happened here. They have this panel, and when they have this panel, a woman asked a question. You'll see this, and let's go ahead and do this, and then I want to take a break. After this, we'll do a little something at the top. You know, something so I can do some things. But anyway, let's go ahead and play this real quick because I think this is real. This is what it's all about. And this is what I'm saying. When we stand back and do nothing, you got to put ourselves in that place right now. That's where you have to go.
Alaikum. Peace to you all. My name is Saba Ahmed. I'm a law student at American University. I am here to ask you a simple question. I know that we portray Islam and all Muslims as bad, but there's 1.8 billion Muslim followers of Islam. We have 8 million plus Muslim Americans in this country, and I don't see them represented here. But my question is, how can we fight an ideological war with weapons? How can we ever end this war? The jihadist ideology that you talk about, it's an ideology. How can you ever win this thing if you don't address it ideologically?
Great question. I am so glad you're here, and I am so glad you brought that up because it gives us an opportunity to answer. What I find so amazing is since the beginning of this panel, which we are here about Benghazi attack against our people, not one person mentioned Muslims. We are here against Islam, or we're launching war against Muslims. We are here to discuss how 4 Americans died and what our government is doing. We were not here to bash Muslims. You were the one who brought up the issue about most Muslims, not us. And since you brought it up, allow me to elaborate with my answer. There are 1.2 billion Muslims in the world today. Of course, not all of them are radicals. The majority of them are peaceful people. The radicals are estimated to be between 15 to 25%, according to all intelligence services around the world. That leaves 75% of them peaceful people. But when you look at 15 to 25% of the world Muslim population, you're looking at 180 million to 300 million people dedicated to the destruction of Western civilization. That is as big of the United States. So why should we worry about the radicals, 15 to 25%? Because it is the radicals that kill. Because it is the radicals that behead and massacre. When you look throughout history, when you look at all the lessons of history, most Germans were peaceful. Yet the Nazis drove the agenda. And as a result, 60 million people died. Almost 14 million in concentration camps. 6 million were Jews. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. When you look at Russia, most Russians were peaceful as well. Yet the Russians were able to kill 20 million people. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. When you look at China, for example, most Chinese were peaceful as well. Yet the Chinese were able to kill 70 million people. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. When you look at Japan prior to World War II, most Japanese were peaceful as well. Yet Japan was able to butcher its way across Southeast Asia, killing 12 million people, mostly killed with bayonets and shovels. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. On September 11th in the United States, we had 2.3 million Arab Muslims living in the United States. It took 19 hijackers, 19 radicals to bring America down to its knees, destroy the World Trade Center, attack the Pentagon, and kill almost 3,000 Americans that day. The peaceful majority were irrelevant. So for all our powers of reasons and us talking about moderate and peaceful Muslims, I'm glad you're here. But where are the others speaking out? And since you are the only Muslim representative, send the applause till the end.
Let me turn this back up. Okay, that's enough of that. But that just goes to show you. Now, if you notice, she kept saying the peaceful majority. How did that work out for all these different countries? People sat back and allowed it to happen because we're peaceful. You are playing into exactly what they want. Exactly. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. The elected sheriff, I'm looking at reading some of the stuff here, but that's the stuff that happens. And so when we allow it to happen, this is what you get. You cannot continue. You really cannot continue to allow the school districts to do what they do. Now I'm watching, and nothing against these people. They're trying to do what they can because the voters didn't get out there. But now we have to spend our time trying to talk liberals into not allowing liberals to do what they do. Stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. It really is. But that's what we're doing. And so how's that working out for us? I don't know. You tell me. I'm not really sure how it works out for me. How it works out for all of us. Because right now, when we watch what goes on, dead serious, when we watch what goes on, we are in trouble. We really are. We have to get up and we got to do things. All right, I'm going to take a break. I'm just going to make it easy, play my theme song here. And when you look at it, do me a favor. Just keep noticing how these kids are in school and in this song. And I know a lot of people know this, and I say it every time, but we have new ones. How these kids are in school and exactly, dead serious, exactly what we should be doing. It is so, for me, when I see people, when I see these kids getting up, I want to see other ones. Sorry, I'm going to take a break here, folks. I have to. I want to take a break. So here we go. We'll be back in a few.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Don't label us left or right. We are American. Not looking for a war, but we came to fight. We are American. Somebody's gotta stand up. Stand up. Somebody's gotta do what's right. We're rising cause we're fed up. Got our house in order and got yours in sight. American, that's what I am, that's what I think, and what I do. I am American, that's what I am, and I bleed red, white, and blue. And I bleed red, white, and blue. It's not about party, it's about what's right. We are American. Taking back our country, come and join the fight. We are American. Somebody's gotta stand up. Stand up. Somebody's gotta do what's right. We're rising cause we're fed up. Got our house in order and got yours inside. I am American, that's what I am, that's what I think, and what I do. I am American, that's what I am, and I bleed red, white, and blue. And I bleed red, white, and blue. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I am American, that's what I am, that's what I say, and what I do.
Alrighty. I love that. You guys know I love that. Everybody should love that. Because you should bleed red, white, and blue. You really should. It's interesting you should say that, Sassy. I'm not sure who you are, but it's interesting. Americans should take the time to learn the liberty principles, how to articulate and defend them, then run for local state offices. Here's our problem. Nobody wants to run. We can't even get them to the damn voting booth. They're sitting quietly by. You know what it reminds me of? They're sitting quietly by getting the hell beat out of them. You're right. It's not about the party. It's about what's right. That's why I like the video, because that's what it is. It's not about the damn party. But we have to pick one. Right now, the way it's set up, we have to pick one. And that's why I said, let's take our own party over and get rid of these losers, these jackasses. And they're on every level. I told you we got the chair of the Republican Central Committee in our own county. In my county, I should say. There's other people listening in other places. What's he doing? He's giving money to the liberals. This is why I tell people, stop worrying about the other side. I understand why you're worried about it, but the other side is not our problem. It's the hypocrites on our own side. That's what it is. You're right. The American sheeple have allowed government to lord over them with no resistance. You know what? They're still running around with masks on. And Sherry, you're right. The peaceful paid the price. That's exactly what happened. The peaceful paid the price. Because you are being peaceful and obedient. I'm telling you, folks, if I'm the enemy, if I was on the other side, I would look at you and say, you are the easiest people on the planet to beat. You may not like to hear that. That's exactly what I'd be thinking. Exactly. Because honestly, when you get down to it, we don't even vote. We don't do what we do. And Sassy, I totally agree with you. But we can't even get people to run right now. One of my our new people, Neil, posted yesterday in Real Republican and says, we need to start on the school board elections today for next year. He's right. We need to find out who wants to run, who we can support, and we do it. Now, you may say, well, we got other elections. Right now, the next real election we'll have will be next year in April. We failed miserably, didn't have a lot of time, so I'll be fair about it, even though I was pissed about it. I'll be fair about it. But next year ought to be the year that we have 50% showing up in April. And have you Republicans who sat on your asses and did nothing this time, you are the enemy. If you're doing nothing, you are the enemy. You're allowing people to do whatever they want to us, and that's it. And then you turn around and you look at us and you go, wait a minute, that's not fair. No, it's our, until, when I talk to people, like at the meeting, somebody was upset and he said, well, Nancy Pelosi, and I totally understood what she meant. Nancy Pelosi is not our problem. Nancy Pelosi works very well with the establishment Republicans that we have up there. And don't think they don't. If you think that Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi hate each other, you're dreaming. You don't have a clue what's going on. And that's why I do this show, so I can explain this to you. There's nothing I can do about someone else's house, not really, but I can help clean our own house. I want the Republican Central Committee chair to resign for giving money to the enemy. What would happen if you're in the military and you colluded with the enemy? They shoot your ass. It's crazy. One of the things that we have problems with, dead serious, is that if we had the people to run, we wouldn't be doing this. But all we hear is somebody else has got to do something. That's not going to do it. Verbal resistance is not fighting. That's correct. Oh, but we're peaceful. You're next. Oh, but if they do this. Good. Thank you for saying that. I actually talked to Jason Hughes, and he said that they were going to have a meeting. He said if they can do it, they're going to. So the mask mandate in Branson, I'm bringing this up because I talked to Jason yesterday. It gives me good reason to go down and see him. I'll go down and see him. I'll see you, Ronnie, and the rest of my friends. But let's plan a trip down to Branson. That would be fun. But my friend Jason Hughes of the Hughes brothers, we text a little bit back and forth, and he said that they had a meeting yesterday, and the first thing that we're going to do is give her that stupid mask mandate. That's exactly what they did. Good for them. See, when the people come back, and here you are thinking you're done. And guess what? They had a few people to run. Let me tell you, in Jefferson County, we got Dan Shaw, who wants to be a senator. He wants to be a state senator. He is a hypocrite, phony. That's what he is. You have Mary Elizabeth Coleman. You have Becky Ruth. This is really going to make me popular when I go to some of the Republican things. I don't care. It's my job. I've taken this upon myself. It's my job to alert the people that we have to start doing something. And they watch this show. Don't think they don't. They think I'm the biggest SOB on the planet. And if I was a wuss like so many of my friends are, I wouldn't be saying this stuff. I really don't care. I can't spend my life. And I don't mean to be screaming, but I can't, I get so frustrated. When we had the election last Tuesday and 8% of the people showed up, I was so disgusted. And I started looking at myself and say, what am I doing wrong? And then I looked around, and pretty much it was like that everywhere. Republicans are sleeping, and they are allowing this stuff to happen. And they said they're peaceful. And they sat silently by as the country was taken over. That's what's going on. We see it every single day. We have what was it? The city administrator, I mentioned this earlier, in Brooklyn Center, was fired for saying that there's procedures that we go through. But you know what? Let's go farther. Because of the pressure put on the jurors in the Derek Chauvin case, with George Floyd, and the people outside, they are the ones really forcing these things going on. Now, we go to Washington, D.C. on January 6th, and we're considered horrible. I was there because I love my country. And you're right, Sherry, the schools are most important. Right now, this is going to be something I'm going to be pushing for real Republicans. Number one, gosh damn it, get on the website and start putting your money in there so we can support these people. Sit there and just say, oh, somebody's got to do it. I want them to use their time, their money, and I want to sit back and tell them what to do. If that's you, get the hell away from me. I don't need somebody else, and we don't need somebody else, these do-nothings, these field generals. Till you get off your dead butts and help us do something, I don't care. I've told people on Real Republicans, I'm not, until I see some action from some of these people, if you post something in there and expect it to get through, I'm declining it. I'm sick to death of playing babysitter to a bunch of drive-by Republicans that don't want to get off their asses to do something. Do I sound pissed or not? I am, because I watch our cities being burnt down. And we sit back and say, well, if they come here, it's the stupidest, laziest, lamest thing I've ever heard in my life. Have not heard a single elected person mention any of these things, which are easily web searched. How many Americans have read the CARES Act that funds on levels to enforce? Yeah, you're right. You're right. People, they watch NBC, CBS, ABC. Oh, I don't watch that. Then you watch Fox and you're done. It doesn't matter. I was, and I'm going to mention this again. Steve Farmer, you're a nice guy, but sorry, I think you're clueless in some ways. No offense. I like you as a person, but sometimes I wonder where your brain is. And that'll get back to him. I don't care. But when you were suing the taxpayers for more money and you made excuses of why that was going on, where the hell was your brain? And I mean no offense. So one day when we were at a Republican club, and I'm calling these people out because I'm sick to death of wusses. I really am. And if you don't want to be a wuss, then change your behavior and stand up and start saying, and agree with me and say, we got to start taking our schools back. That's what we have to do. But when he said, oh, there's some great reading material, if you haven't read enough to piss you off, then you are never going to do anything. And nothing's ever going to change. Nothing's going to change. That's exactly what's going on. So until we do something, it's over. It's really over. Because people just don't want to do things. Linda, am I right? She's probably working. A lot of people actually do work during the show. I mean, for me, ladies and gentlemen, it gets so old. I just get to a point where it's like, at what point, seriously? You got Dr. Idiot Fauci. Yes, Idiot Fauci out there who's telling people that even though, okay, first of all, go get this vaccine for something that's 99.9% curable. I'm sorry, people. If you want to get it, that's fine. I have no desire to put this in my system. And by the way, did you notice Johnson & Johnson? They have a problem, don't they? It's causing blood clots in some people, and they stopped it and said, well, we'll fix that. Any and every vaccination known to man can cause a problem. That's the human, because we're humans. We are all subject to being susceptible to something. We just are. And so here we got Dr. Fauci saying you need to get your vaccines and you still need to wear the mask. I mean, this is the stupidest thing. And the people are not doing it. And you Republicans out there, act so damn tough. The very people that are they're watching this show right now, I'm sorry, I'm going to let you have it. I always do anyway. If you're running around with a mask on because you don't want to cause problems, because you don't want any confrontation, you are one of the wusses I'm talking about. I mean, if you really and truly believe that stupid mask is helping you, you're a fool. You're a fool, and you are doing exactly what the left tells you to do. No, you're right. Some things are more important than making and keeping friends. I lose more friends this way with this show. I really do. And I don't really care. It's really amazing. When I first started doing this many years ago, I used to say, wow, I didn't mean to hurt their feelings or something like that. I got over it. I just said I can't do this anymore. I got to be me. I got to be honest about it. I have to use the intelligence I was born with. I know the lefties don't think it is, but I have to use what God gave me. And that's what I do my best to do. May not be what you want to hear, but you know what? It's really interesting. The people that get most pissed off at me are the ones with their hands in their pockets, the ones running around with masks on their face, the ones complaining about everything and doing nothing. Those are the people that get mad. The people that I have better friendships with are the ones that go, Dave, I don't know how you do it. Don't you get pissed? Yeah, I do. I mean, it just, when I get behind this microphone, 2 hours, every 3 days a week. I'm not doing more. I do it because to be sane, I have to. Then it becomes more of a job. I do this because it's what I feel I need to do. Corporate, well, no, you know what? It's not just corporate press. It's corporate, period. If you notice, corporate America, and I said this some time ago, didn't I? Corporate America was in on bringing Trump down. Now, you would say, why? Why? He was helping. Corporate America works with Democrats wonderfully. If they didn't, why would they be given millions and millions? Now, part of it is, don't think I'm joking here. Part of it is that corporate America is afraid of BLM. So are you. You're going, well, I'm not afraid. Yes, you are. You're sitting back watching them destroy cities. You know, when they want to fire these people, I want to have a rally, and I want to support our police officers. And guess what? At that rally, I'll tell these police officers, now, if you're going to come in here and arrest me for not wearing a mask, you are the problem. Because I don't just nonchalantly just support everybody. It's who they are. Oh, yeah. Federal Republican Women's Club wants to bring in one of our Central Committee members. Oh, yeah, go ahead. I can't wait till you question him. Why did you give money to Jim Shalhoub? Why did you do that? He's a devout liberal. The NEA loves him. Why did you give money to April? Why did April spend over $8,000 to get elected to a non-paid position? Why did she do that? Now, it's not the same. Trust me, it's not because she spent a lot of her money, but she also went out and got money from other people. Oh, well, good for her. And guess what? She got elected because Republicans who say they care so much, who spend all their time on Facebook, go back and forth, this is mad, that makes me mad, it makes me mad. They were so mad that they didn't even bother to show up. Wow, that's good, isn't it? The doctor says, take the medicine. Then the lawyers say, sue the doctor. You're right. And I'm trying to give him medicine. I am. Look, I can't worry about making everyone happy. I notice who's here and who's not here most of the time. Now, some people are busy. I get it. And some people get mad at me because it's like, I don't like the way he says this or that. You know, it goes with so many different things. And if we can't be honest with ourselves, if you can't look in the mirror about everything, if you look at yourself and you're grossly overweight, and I mean no offense to these people, I love some of these people, but if you can't look at it and admit to yourself, say you have a problem. I mean, with me, I look in the mirror, and it's like I used to be thinner. I look, it's like, what the hell are you doing? I get mad at myself, but I don't make excuses for myself. I don't at all. But you know what? Until people are honest with themselves, we'll never get anywhere. Never. I mean, that's just it. And it's not just about that. There's so many other things. But people want to ignore their problems and want to look at other things. And we've got to look at everything. We just do. Corporate America also loves no regulations and exploitation of human capital. Well, let's be honest about it. Right now, Americans are saying, give me money. I'll take that $1,400. And we'll go ahead. This is money that your grandchildren haven't even earned yet. Yes, you're going, hey, I don't care. Just give it to me. Just give it to me. And you people who are getting money every month, I mean, look, here's what gets me. Well, I earned it. No, you didn't earn that. That was put out there for other reasons. And we keep coming up with excuses for this. Well, Sassy, glad to meet you. Yep, that's exactly what it is. I like that picture. That's who I am. I stand up strong for America. That's what I try to do. And it bothers some people. Man, the lefties hate me more than anything. And I'm going to tell you who hates me. No, you know who hates me the most, though? The hypocrites in the Republican Party. I will say one thing about the Democrats. They're not being hypocritical. They really aren't. Some of them are. The Republicans that we have in our own party, in our own county, in our own state, our own country, how many of them are living? This is where people don't get it. Well, they supported. Your only measuring stick is they supported Trump. So let me ask you a question. The chair of the Republican Central Committee in Jefferson County, Jim Burbridge, supported Trump. So he's okay. It doesn't matter if he gave money to liberals for school board. Doesn't matter if he pushed them. It doesn't matter if he defended this this phony nonpartisan election. It doesn't matter what he did. He likes Trump. He gets a pass. Are we that easy? Mayor Elizabeth Coleman, I want to name Highway 55 after Trump. Vote for me because of that. That's where we are. Wow, she's wonderful. No, she's not. I know you don't have a guilty conscience. I know you don't. Because you do work hard. You know who's mad, Linda. The people that are maddest at me are the ones that don't want to be honest with themselves. They aren't doing their part. I honestly. No, but my point is, you know what, Carl? Carl says, I'm fat, but I'm old too. You know what? If you can look in the mirror and say, damn it, I can do better. I'm too fat or whatever it is. You can do that. And be honest, if somebody says, hey, you're fat, be honest with them and say, yeah, I am. It's stupid and I need to do better or whatever. Or I'm okay with it. But don't deny it. When you deny this crap, when you deny that, you deny anything else. We are in denial in so many things. Well, I do my share. I did my civic duty. I heard this not long ago. I do my civic duty. I vote. You know who you're voting for? No, they haven't come to my house and knocked on the door and told me who they are. And let me tell you what happens. When we go to people's houses sometimes, they get mad. We don't want those flyers in our area. You know, we'll go door to door trying to save money and help the candidates, and there's people outside, we talk to them. Do you know how many people get mad? Not all, some, not many. But some of them get mad because you interrupted them. You knock on the door. They see you and they go, can I help you? Oh, no. I have better times than to pull that flyer. I mean, we become so ridiculous, it's not even funny. I have to pull that flyer off, and I'm not going to read it. I'm going to throw it in the trash. Wow. You are a caring individual. I read everybody's. I read the lefts. I read the right. I want to know what's going on. I want to know who my enemies are and what they're doing. Why did he donate money to liberals? I don't know. Well, I know that Jim Shalhoub lives close to him, and I think April Meckel, who he gave $500 to, was running as a middle of the road person, and it's a blatant lie. But she did a great job in marketing, and she did a great job in fooling a few people. But that's what it was. It could have been, yeah. It could have been. But no, Jim Shalhoub is his neighbor. I don't care. I got neighbors. It's like, you know what? I respect you what you're doing. I can't support you, especially if you are the chair of the Republican Central Committee in Jefferson County. I mean, that's like stupid. It is. It's really stupid. Why would you do that? Why in the world would you give money to somebody like that? I really don't know. But he did. And you know what? The people around him, the other phonies, here's what happens. So, you know, when you sit there and you go, this only happens at the higher levels. No. It happens at the lowest levels all the time. Because they want very much to make sure that their people get elected. Because they get something out of it. Do you know how many so-called Republicans have no problem with the Chinese? They can say what they want, but if they are agreeing and doing all this stuff, look, if you are supporting, look, I'm going to go back to what I said before. If you aren't supporting our cause, and don't give me this bullshit. Don't give me this bullshit about I give to candidates. I can look you up. I've already had, that's the excuse people do. It's like, well, I give to candidates. I don't give to organizations. And I go look them up and say, who'd you give to? Well, it's none of your business. When they say that, they're lying through their teeth. I don't have any respect for people like that. I don't. I have none. And as far as I'm concerned, they are the problem. Because, why don't we ask, I'll tell you what, Linda, maybe this is what you should do. Is if you can get Jim Burbidge to show up, which I doubt, why don't you ask him if they gave money to who they gave money to in the school board election and why, instead of asking him why and let him trap himself. Of course, he knows this now after I said this. Thank you. I appreciate that, Ronnie. Education. Look, even people around us, Ronnie, Sassy, you're making great points. You are. The people around us don't want to hear it. They go, I don't want to know about that stuff. Here's a teacher but he's a private school teacher. He says, we're damaging kids with critical race theory. That's what we're doing. Oh, you're right. We are all busy. If your freedoms and the future of your country were important to you, you would find the time. You know something? It really drives me crazy when we have our events and people say, oh, I was going to plant the garden that day. Of all the time, in between 1 and 3 on that Saturday, that's what I was going to do. Oh, it's amazing. At 4 o'clock, if it was at 4 o'clock, I would be there. Or they'll come up with something. Happens all the time. Or I would give money to Republicans, but I can't because I'm using that money for something relevant. We're getting ready to go on vacation. I mean, and gas is so much higher. So I need that $1,400 to pay for it. I mean, really, that's what happens. It just, I got to tell you, the toughest time I have, I'll look right now, the toughest time I have right now is looking on real Republicans, well, actually not real Republicans, we go through Square with the contributions. We go through there, and it says, nothing today. And then I go to yesterday, nothing yesterday. It's really so disturbing. It's so disturbing when I go in there. It's like nobody gives a damn. They give lip service. That's it. That's it. I mean, and honestly, I just don't get it. And there's people out there. Here, let's put it this way. Let me see. Okay, we had one. I'm looking here. It's been 4 days. I'm sorry. That's disgusting. It's disgusting. No one took me on a stimulus challenge. I made good on my pledge last week and wrote the check. See, he did it. Yeah, they got those stimulus checks, didn't they? But you know what? The freedom part isn't important. Let me see. We're going to put new counters in. That's up there. All these things are there. And it's really nice to get that money for my grandkids and great-grandkids. We're going to do all that stuff. Freedom. Oh, that's, damn it. Almost made it there. Okay, made it there. I'll give it $5. That's what some of them do. Some of them can afford a lot more, and it's like, okay, I'll do the least I can. No offense, you're doing something. I give you credit for that. But I know people that can't afford it, and they're doing, and there's not many of them. Don't get me wrong. And this is a classic example. I belong to 3 clubs, and officer at 2 because other people in the club don't want to do it. They want to be a spectator. That's what they want to do. But wait a minute. You needed help. Sassy, you can't do this on your own. You needed help. You know that. Because how did you ever make it? How did you ever make it? But God gave you the gifts. Trusted in God to provide, and He did. Well, actually, He did by giving you the gifts and giving you the drive to do what it takes. See, I like to put it where it really is instead of the I hate to say it like this, the fantasy. You did what you were taught to do and learned to do, and what God told you to do. How's that? I like for people to do things for that because see, the problem is, and this is why I have problems with religion, because people use religion as a great excuse. Oh my goodness gracious! Oh yes, they do. They use the excuse and they go, "I prayed for it yesterday. Done." You know, this may offend some people. Oh well, what else is new? One of the things I just never forgot years ago is looking. I would start looking at the post a little differently, and somebody would say, "There's a family here. They're really hurting. Mom and dad both lost their jobs because of the economy and all that stuff, and they need your help." 98% sounds like everything else. 98% of the responses were, "We will pray for them." Done. Some of them even said that. "We prayed for them." Done. They're done. They're done with it. That doesn't make a difference. If they effing starve, they starve. Pardon me. It's just where I am. If they starve, but I prayed for. I did my job. I'm done. You know, hey, I went on Facebook and I took this and I moved it over here and I found it on here and I shared it on Real Republicans. I did my job. Well, you know, here's the problem, Sassy. I didn't quit the GOP. I want to take it over. Oh, well, that's good to hear. I didn't get to see that. My friend Ronnie is MRA convention this Saturday. I have been nominated for the second vice president position at state level. I wish I could be there, but I can't. I have a wedding to go to. Young man, and in fact, I will mention his name. Gus Reinitz is getting married, and he and his lovely fiance are going to have a big party out in. They live south, but they're going out to a winery. I forgot the name of the winery. Out in where is that? By Forest Hill. Right City. We're staying in Forest Hill. So that's where I'm going this week. Otherwise, I would love to come down and see you. Who knows? Maybe next week I'll take a week off. We'll go down to Branson or something like that. We'll see. I have other things. I have a business I have to run too, so it's not as easy. But I wanna see my friends who really are there. Because you know what? We have people, and I hope to get together with Mr. Neely soon. We have people who absolutely want to be much more involved. And they don't even live here. Jefferson County gets what it deserves, doesn't it, Linda? Because 8% of the people showed up. And when you get the people who you think are on your side and they're giving the liberals, you know you're in trouble. Or you're getting the same people who are applauding people like Dan Shaw and Mary Elizabeth Coleman. When you get them doing that, it just baffles me. It's like, you want to give up? I won't. Oh, I may walk away for a few days, but I just get that much more mad. I do. I'm no fun when I get mad, that's for sure. Tax-free churches are answerable to the state. You're right. Don't you just love it when a pastor says, we can't say that. Otherwise, I'm sure this is in the Bible, right? This is why I'm not a religion fan. I didn't say not a God fan, a religion fan. If we do that, if we say that, we will lose. I know, is this in doctrine, in Catholic doctrine or whatever? If we do it that way, we will lose our tax-free status. Isn't that great? Yes. Oh, I would love to say that, but we'll lose our tax-free status. Everybody is a slave to the government. I was listening yesterday to somebody, and it was really good. And he made a comment, which is so true, and I'm ashamed that I haven't really thought about it until I listened to what he said. And he said, in the Constitution, there's nothing about a virus that says we suspend all rights because of a virus. Nothing in the Constitution says that. But have you noticed how many even Republicans who have become so tainted, so sick, so brainwashed. You know, this is the problem we have. If you're really a Republican, you should be on my side, just pissed off beyond belief. But they're wearing face diapers. They're getting vaccinations. They're getting all this stuff over something that they realistically haven't looked at. We talk about our schools. 99.7% recovery rate. Let me go in and volunteer to get a blood clot. There you go. Let me do that. That sounds like a good. Yeah, Sassy, do you live in Missouri? What if you do? What county do you live in? Yeah, we're curious here. And do I know you? Are you a Facebook friend or whatever? Just curious. I don't know. Look, we have a lot of people out there who absolutely agree with me, but a lot of them are afraid to say something. They are. Now, I'm going to invite everybody, not this Saturday. Oh, okay, you don't. May I ask what states you live in? Sassy? Not this Saturday, but a week from this Saturday at 1 o'clock at the VFW Hall in Arnold. If you have any questions, just look it up. But the VFW Hall. Be there 1 o'clock. Become part of it. We are going to start doing some organizing here. We're going to start getting people more involved instead of me just getting up there giving you my 3 cents of how we need to do things. We need to have people start truly volunteering. Now, let me go a step farther with this, because we have a lot of people out there who think that, well, if I volunteer, I don't have to give any money. If you are truly destitute, which I doubt, but if you are, it's understandable. And please don't give me this stuff about a fixed income. I hear that too. There's many people that do contribute to Republicans who aren't destitute, but they're on a fixed income. There's a lot of things, and they do it. And why do they do it? Because they agree with everything that we're trying to accomplish. That's why. And if you're one of those people, and believe me, we were sitting here one time listening to the excuses, and you know who you are. I'm sorry. I call it out as it is. You may be my friends, but you may not be my friends longer, because when you make excuses why you can't be part of the solution, it doesn't work. I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it. And you know, I don't get that. I really don't get that. Why would adults who say they care so much make excuses of why they will not do something, or I cannot do that? It's the biggest bunch of garbage ever. It really is. And I get sick of it. I really do. And you can get mad at me all you want. I really, the one thing I know people know about me is I really don't care if people get mad at me. I'm used to it. My God, if I one a day, it kind of reminds me of the business I was in. I used to joke around and say, if I don't cut my hands at least on every job at least one time, I haven't done my job. Well, if I haven't pissed off a few people after every show or whatever, I probably haven't done my job. And you know what the worst part is? The people, honest to God, this is true now. The people I piss off the most are the non-doers, the do-nothings, the ones that complain, the ones that are somebody else needs to do. Those are the ones that I piss off the most. They really are. Because those that are doing something, Linda and Ronnie and the rest of them, they're doing things. They're doing things. You know why they're not mad? Because they agree with me. They may not like my technique sometimes. I think some of them do. But they know I'm being honest. Well, that's our whole point, Sassy. What state are you from, if you don't mind me asking? I don't know why you wouldn't. We're doing... Are you from Georgia? Your name isn't Raspenberger, is it? Oh, God. Can you imagine? That guy will never win another position again. Oh, let's go back to this. I forgot to do it. Private school teacher Paul Rossi writes that we're doing a disservice by instilling critical race theory on students. I'm a teacher of Grace Church High School in Manhattan. 10 years ago, I changed careers when I discovered how rewarding it is to help young people explore the truth and beauty of math. That's awesome. As a teacher, my first, and I can understand that because I was a math person. 10 years ago, let me see. As a teacher, my first obligation is my students. But right now, my school is asking me to embrace anti-racism training. This is a Catholic? Well, it's a parochial school, and they're joining in. What does that help you with your tax status? So anyway, that I believe is deeply harmful to them and to any person who seeks to nurture the virtues of curiosity, empathy, and understanding. Anti-racist training sounds righteous, but it is the opposite of truth of advertising. It requires teachers like myself to treat students differently on the basis of race. Furthermore, in order to maintain a united front for our students, teachers at Grace are directed to confine our doubts about this framework to conversations in-house. You're supposed to go ahead and teach what they want you to teach. Yeah. I know that by, you know what, when we went to, just so you know, I'll get back to this. When we went to January 6th, there were so many Georgia people there and Pennsylvania, and they knew what happened in their states. A few Wisconsin, some other ones there, that were totally disgusted and pissed off. They were so pissed off you wouldn't believe it. Yeah, and well, I guess you would if you're from there. So anyway, thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. I know that by attaching my name to this, I'm risking not only my current job, but my career as an educator, since most schools, both public and private, are now captive to this backward ideology by witnessing the harmful impact it has on our children. But here's our problem, my friend. The voters don't care. The voters are sitting by and are going, wow, that's awful. What's the next story? I'm not going to do anything about it. Yes, it upsets me. It upsets me so much that I'm going to go find something and I'm going to put it on another page so those people can say, wow, this upsets me too. Think about it. I love when somebody says, oh, I'm trying to alert the masses. You're talking to the wrong person. You want to alert the masses, get out there and do it. Recently, I raised questions about this ideology as a mandatory whites-only student and faculty Zoom meeting. Such racially segregated sessions are now commonplace at my school. It was bait-and-switch self-care seminar that labeled objective. My goal was to model for students that they should feel safe to question ideological assertions if they felt moved to do so. However, when my questions were shared outside this forum, violating the school norm of confidentiality, I was informed by the head of the high school that my philosophical challenges had caused harm to the students. Forget about the fact that the students are being taught. They're being taught that they should be ashamed of being white. They're being taught that all white people are white supremacists. That's what they're doing. As you people sit back and say, wow, I didn't know there was an election. Those schools need to change. Yes, they do. Now, if you don't mind, I'm busy. I'm watching American Idol, or I'm in the process. I'm on Facebook. I'm telling people, that's what I'm doing. This is why people that agree with me that do things, that's why they're going, it's exactly how I feel. I can't tell you how many friends I have who have been activists for as long as I have are so angry They're angry because they feel like we're the only ones doing it. And little by little by tiny bits, you get people who get turned on and do stuff. But a lot of times, even those people do it for a little bit and they quit. The GOP chair didn't even throw Brad out of the party, not even a letter of censure. Of course not. Raspenberger should be gone. I mean, if they should say you're out of the party, we dumped you, but they don't do that. Unbelievable. I mean, the only thing I can say in Missouri, and I think it's pressure by people like myself and others, even though the idiot Dan Shaw wrote the mail-in voting bill, and we made him look stupid just like we did April and other people at the meeting. Even though all that stuff happened, Republicans still aren't pissed off enough to do what they need to do. They just aren't. All right, here we go. Students from low-income families experience culture shock at our school. Racist incidents happen, and bias can influence relationships. All true. But addressing such problems with a call to undo history lacks any kind of limiting principle and pairs any allegation of bigotry. And by the way, I spoke to a military person, and Ronnie, you might be able to address this. Now, it's been a while since you've been overseas or whatever. I spoke to somebody just come back from overseas, has been in different places, and he said, if you think racism is bad here, I mean, real racism, you should go to other countries. It's nothing compared. Nothing. There's other countries, especially the Muslim countries. This is what's amazing to me. The Muslim countries are the most racist and sexist countries on the planet. And the idiot liberals on the left who don't have a brain to think, they just told what to think, they can't even figure out the fact that the very Muslim terrorists that they are coddling, like Tlaib and Omar and they are, the very the terrorists that they're coddling would kill them in a heartbeat. Oh, you're a gay person? You're a transgender? You're dead. They throw them off buildings. That's what they do. Can't even do it. Well, Elizabeth, you're off Facebook too? Well, I'm off Facebook. I don't even remember how long. I still got another 2.5 weeks to go or something like that. So I have to go through Wendy's. That's what I'm doing. So if you're on Facebook and you wonder why I don't answer anything, it's because I can't. You know what? It's funny. We do have more time, but Elizabeth, you agree with what I'm saying because the people that are actually helping and doing things are the ones that agree with me. The other ones aren't. Most GOP in Georgia are carpetbaggers, and you could take that to the bank. I know that. It happens all the time. Oh, yes. People don't even know what that is. Maxine Waters is a carpetbagger. Oh, she may have lived in that district one time. She doesn't even live in her own district. Why is it that when you're representing an area, why is it that you don't even have to live in your district? How about these Democrats who are trying to make everybody do everything, live the way they want? Why aren't they pushing a law? Because they want to make sure that you have to live in your district. How about that one? Yes, we're passing law. These are things we need to make sure happens. How's that? They are. They're yes. So why is it that we're not passing that law? What do you think that's a good law to have? That if you're representing a district, you should live in a district? Nancy Pelosi, I don't think Nancy Pelosi lives in her district. There's a lot of liberals there's a lot of liberals that have ghetto areas that represent those ghetto areas, and they don't live in those areas. The hypocrisy is incredible. You know what we need to get rid of? Hypocrisy. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I've been trying to do for years. So for all you so-called Republicans out there, you drive-by Republicans out there who hate me to death, especially those in the Central Committee and the losers in government who don't like, Shaw and the rest of them that don't like me calling them out. You guys are drive-by Republicans. Oh, you may have a couple things there, but you don't share all the things you do. I went through the last few days, and this is one of the things I want people to do. We're gonna have committees on real Republicans, and we can do this. This could be over whatever. Maybe we had a Zoom meeting for that, but anyway, we could do that. But point is, we need to have committees to start looking up the records, the legislative records of what these people have done, what they've done good and what they've done bad. As Mr. Neely told me one time when I said, could you tell us more about Mr. Neely? He said, the best way to know about me is to look at my legislative record. Have I made mistakes? Yes. And by the way, every good legislator, pretty much every, no such thing as all-inclusive, but, have made a mistake. Even I can't think of any that haven't. I remember Mike Moon telling me that. There you go. Every liberal should have to spend time living in countries like Iraq, Saudi Arabia, any Middle East country. Oh, yeah. You talk about racism? You don't know what racism is all about. And by the way, in those dictatorship countries, if you were to come out against racism, they'd just go ahead and collect your ass, collect your phony asses, and they'd take you in and chop your head off. Send the Karens first. Yes. These people, I showed that video earlier, these people at the restaurant where they're standing on the tables, these people trying to eat whatever. By the way, if you're a liberal and you supported that and they come there and do that to you, I don't feel one bit sorry for you. I don't feel one bit sorry for you at all. If you're an owner of a business and you supported that, I don't feel bad for you. When you're a corporate business, like what was I reading? AT&T and a bunch of these other ones. I can't think of some of the other ones offhand, but they went in there and the BLM, which is only a theory. Remember that. That's what Kamala Harris said. I don't know of any real BLM. Yeah, right. That's who they send money to a theory. But when you are, if that's what you do, I'm sorry. I'm just losing it right now. I get so mad. That's why I only do 3 days a week. I can only take so much as my blood pressure can only do so much. Well, you know what, Sassy? If you want to start a Real Republicans, we do it for a reason. We call it Real Republicans for a reason. Because Real Republicans means we're real Republicans. We're not phony asses like Raspenberger and the rest of them that you have there. They're not carpetbaggers. You should represent your district. They're not phonies like Mitch McConnell and Kinzinger and so many other ones that call themselves Republicans. That's why we're called Real Republicans. And as I will tell you right now, I'll go anywhere. We'll have a chapter somewhere else. That's fine. And I'm not trying to compete with Ronnie's because he's doing whatever's in your area. If you have something, fine. I'll come and help you, whatever it is. There's a lot of people like me come and speak. It's hard to get me to shut up because here's the problem. If you have me come and speak at your get together, get ready for exactly what I do on this show because I don't need notes. I really don't, because everything comes from the heart. Everything is I've been doing it for years, and I make no bones about it. And I really don't go up there to be loved. Oh goodness, I want to get up there to be loved by everybody. Racism in those countries is why dictators flourish. You're right. So, veteran, even in your day, you got to see it, right? Veteran hasn't been over there in a while. He's a military, career military, then ROTC. You know what? I never asked you about this. How much were you ignored or how much were you behind the scenes disrespected because you were the ROTC teacher? Seriously. And you know as well as I do who the phonies are. Here, how many of those people, I got to ask you this before I go, how many of those people you know were total phonies when they looked at you in the eye? I'm just curious, how many of those people were phonies? They're there. They're there. That's what happened. Yeah, we're running out of time here, and I can go as long as I want, but I actually have to go somewhere today. I have to go a couple places today. But anyway, and I won't be back till Monday unless something huge happens, and we'll get over this stupid this Facebook garbage, this Facebook jail. And Sherry, this is all your fault. I want you to know that. If you wouldn't have wrote, I want to tell everybody in case you didn't know why I got in Facebook jail. The first time is because I called someone. This happened about a month and a half ago, whatever it was, 2 months ago, because I called someone a disgusting pig because they were attacking Rush. Rush had died. They were being disgusting. I called them what they were. The next time, Sherry on there had mentioned the fact that so many people need to get off their asses. And of course, that's like food for me. And I went out there and I did call people. I did call the people who sit back and do nothing and wear masks pussies. I did do that. So that was my mistake. I let my emotion get ahead of me, and I should never do that. But I was so incensed because I was so upset by the fact that people won't get off their butts and do anything. They won't. Well, don't blame the Republican. Okay, Sassy, remember what Trump said. What we need to do, there's a lot of great Republicans in this party. Don't think there aren't. But what we need to do is take control of it. Look, here's the key. If we could take control of our Republican Party, because right now they have it set up. This is something people don't understand. And you may know this. If you go ahead and run as somebody from another party, you have to go out and do things that are literally impossible to do. And you won't get elected. When's the last time you saw a libertarian get elected? When's the last time you saw anybody else get elected? You don't. Because you have to go out and do all kinds. That's the setup they have. So, just like anything, I may not like the way the game is played, but I'm going to go in and play the game the best I can with the rules that are being allowed. So, bottom line is we have to do everything in our power to get rid of every political whore. That's why I started with Republicans, because, I don't want some of the people I mentioned their names over and over and over. I don't want them to get elected because they are Republican phonies. And it's our job to let everyone know who the Republican phonies are. I never stop the pressure, if anybody knows me. And thank you for coming on. That's nice. It really is. It's interesting because a lot of times on D Live, we have people on D Live who are leftist, and they like to call the show and cause problems and all that. Like leftists do. They get on there. They can't talk nice. I mean, they can't talk facts or anything like that. They just have to. They have all the facts. Even though you ask them, they totally ignore the facts and go, "No, this is what it is. You don't get it." Well, what I don't get is I don't like brainwashing, and I like facts. So there you go. So anyway, all right, my friends, I'm done for the week. I'll be back on Monday. Thanks for showing up, Sassy, and some of the new people. A lot of people I know you don't log in. That's fine. Whatever happens, happens. It doesn't matter. But bottom line is, how do we stop the media from lying and distortion? I start out with that story because I was so incensed by the fact that the New York Times wrote a story, in case you didn't watch the beginning of the show, wrote a story and forgot most of the facts and distorted most of the facts. And when you get crap like that, it's really hard. It's hard to win. And that's corporate America. By the way, the New York Times is owned by corporate America, which is not Republican. That's for sure. Sorry. All right, everybody. I am done for the day. And I will see you on Monday. And you know how to get a hold of me. And remember, I love to see everybody at at the Republican Real Republican event a week from this Saturday. Not this Saturday, a week from Saturday. Make plans. No excuses. Let's make it the biggest event ever. Sorry. Thanks a lot for listening, and I will see you on Monday.
You can't quit. And why not? Well, you're fired.
You can't fire him.
Why not?
He quit.
Over?